What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the February 26, 2024 edition of Raw Talk. Megan Morant, Sam Roberts in the studio breaking down what I thought was a pretty good edition of Raw on Monday night, actually. Thumbs up episode overall, recapping Elimination Chamber from Saturday, setting forward some stories for WrestleMania, stuff like that. They opened up the episode running down the biggest headlines from Monday's show, including recapping, or rather replaying, the not entire opening segment, but highlights from the interaction between Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, Nia Jax laying out Becky Lynch to set up their match for next week. Back in the studio, they preview Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch, now made official for the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. They also recap the Nia Jax Liv Morgan match, the final few moments of it before Becky Lynch got involved, caused Liv Morgan to get disqualified. Nia Jax won by DQ. So we hear from Liv Morgan after the fact backstage, and she says that she's faced obstacles her entire life, saying that Becky Lynch makes everything about her. She said that during her quick confrontation with Becky on Raw on Monday night, but she says that Becky makes everything about her. This is no different. And the last stop of her revenge tour is and always will be Rhea Ripley and beating her for the Women's World Championship. So I thought this was good, fiery stuff here from Liv, and she did end the segment saying if you don't believe me, then just watch me. Like, they always have to end every fucking interview with their catchphrases, but aside from that, I thought this was great stuff. I want to see more of this intense side of Liv and getting her hands on Rhea Ripley, not letting anything kind of cloud her path of getting between herself and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, which is not going to happen, obviously, at this point. I don't think she ultimately gets interjected into the Women's World Championship match. I wouldn't complain if she did, but I don't think that's the direction we're going in. I do think it'll just be Becky and Rhea one-on-one. But I think Rhea can, her and Liv at some point can resume that rivalry, rekindle that rivalry, finish off that rivalry at some point down the road, maybe coming out of WrestleMania. But it does seem like Liv will be another obstacle for Becky on the road to WrestleMania. So I like that, and I liked what we got to hear that from Liv here. She might even factor into the finish of Nia and Becky next week, because Roberts even says that Morgan will do whatever it takes to get her hands on Rhea Ripley, and they hype up right after that Becky Lynch and Nia Jax for next week's Raw. So don't be surprised to see Liv factor into the finish of that match, get involved in some way to get her hands on Becky Lynch for costing her the match with Liv Morgan, or rather with Nia Jax on Raw this past week. So I like the whole kind of circle and scene they've set up here with Liv, Rhea, Becky, and Nia. They're not going for a four-way. They fucking shouldn't go for a four-way, obviously. But I do like what they're doing with Liv in the meantime. I think it's really cool. They replay the Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark win over Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae in tag team action. We hear from Shayna and Zoe afterward, and Shayna says that she's going to give a submission lesson to the Kabuki Warriors on how to tap out, because that's exactly what's going to happen when they challenge them for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles at some point, because they feel they've earned that opportunity. Zoe Stark says they've beaten Indy and LeRae twice now in under 2 minutes both times, so they do feel like they're next in line for an opportunity at those tag team titles. Now, does that match come at WrestleMania like they kind of alluded here? That is not a WrestleMania-worthy match, in my opinion. They'll probably do some sort of multi-team match as they normally do. Like, who could even possibly care? And no offense to the women, it's cool that they all get on the card or included in the event. But if you're going to do that, then just do a fucking Battle Royal or something. I feel like the multi-team matches are so fucking lame. We've gotten one every year for 5 years now. No one ever really gives a shit. The matches aren't typically great anyway. Shayna and Zoe are just not over. I like Zoe. I really like Shayna. No one gives a fuck about this team. No one gives a fuck about their matches. There is no reason to care about them. They're booked well. They're booked dominantly. They have been since the beginning of the year. But there's really just nothing interesting about them. They've both had tag team partners, a lot of different tag team partners up to this point. Zoe, not nearly as many as Shayna, but still, they're just two random, directionless singles women's wrestlers put together for the sake of needing another team for this pointless division. So I thought this was a good promo, but I could not give two shits about them eventually challenging another heel team in the Kabuki Warriors for the tag team titles at some point. They have earned themselves an opportunity. I just can't say I care personally. Back to the studio, they recap the Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura match won by Sami Zayn. Really good stuff there. Sam Roberts says that Sami Zayn isn't kind of left with a lot of options on the road to WrestleMania before Megan Morant brings up Gunther in the Intercontinental Championship, teasing the interaction, acknowledging the interaction between the two backstage, teasing a match at WrestleMania. But they do recap the Imperium and Judgment Day segment where Imperium were confronted by all the members of Judgment Day, with the exception of Rhea Ripley, obviously, but JD McDonough was out there, Dominic, Finn, Damian, all kind of setting their sights and focusing on the Intercontinental Championship for the first time since the kind of rise of the Judgment Day. They really haven't involved themselves with the Intercontinental Championship at all. So I thought that was interesting. Dominic, actually more so than Damian, was the one who kind of throws his name into the hat for an opportunity at that title, which is comical, obviously. But what they could be doing here, and they didn't really make mention of it here, but Gunther did mention a few different names in his promo, like Sami Zayn, like Chad Gable. They can fuck off with the Miz stuff. I like the Miz and I like R-Truth, but they're busy and they're better off in the tag team title scene, actually, with the other Judgment Day members. Finn and Damian are probably and should be facing Awesome Truth or WrestleMania for the tag team titles. That, to me, makes the most sense. Dominic does not have a match, but if they do some sort of multi-man match, which other people have pitched, then I really like this idea of doing some sort of multi-man match at night 1 of Mania, not for the Intercontinental Championship, but the winner of this multi-man match goes on to face Gunther on night 2 for the Intercontinental title. I like that a lot. It gets a lot of different guys who have had their sights set on that title for a while in a match on the card at Mania, which, yeah, it's one of those, get everyone on the card at Mania type things, like I just complained about with the women's tag team titles. But at least in this case, it makes sense because all of the people that you would put in that match have had an issue with Gunther or have unfinished business with Gunther. Now, they can't all be baby faces, which is why you throw in Dominic Mysterio. He has a lot of heat. He's a good heel to put in there. I wouldn't put any SmackDown people in there necessarily, because if they don't have any issues with Gunther, then what's the fucking reasoning for that? But I would probably put Sheamus in there if he's cleared by then, which I don't know why he wouldn't be. He's been gone since like fucking August. I think he is cleared, but Sheamus would be a perfect addition to that matchup. Bronson Reed has unresolved issues with Gunther over that title. He's not going to win, but Gunther, Sheamus, Chad, Sammy, Dominic. You could probably find another person. Andrade just arrived on Raw. Him and Gunther would be cool if he were to win. I don't think he would, but that would be a cool outcome for him to face Gunther at WrestleMania. So that's what I would do. I think that'd be a great use of all involved in order to ensure they all get on the card in a meaningful match. That would be a great match, and the winner of that latter match would earn an opportunity for another match in night 2 at WrestleMania for that Intercontinental Championship. So I hope that's the direction they're going, because I feel like that'd be awesome. Megan Moran, when Sam, I thought this was great. We never really see Megan get animated on these shows, especially when Matt was around. They kind of got along really well. Sam Roberts really plays up like the heel broadcaster on these fucking shows, which can be annoying at times, and he's done it for years on these WWE shows, and people got really annoyed with him when he shit on Bianca a number of years ago. I think they've since buried the hatchet, but that was a pretty infamous incident 5 years ago. Dana Brooke, same thing. So not that he was burying anyone here, but he was like overly praising Dominic Mysterio, saying that he's the biggest. I don't know about the biggest, but he did call him a threat to Gunther, which is fucking comical, obviously. You can be a heel commentator, but also make sense. That did not make any sense whatsoever. We have not seen Dominic win too many matches in the past 6 months. So, why even fucking say that? And then even Megan speaks up and is like, whoa. Even in the own Judgment Day, he is not a threat. Finn and Damian are bigger threats to Gunther than fucking Dominic Mysterio. Let's be real here. She got, not pissed, but it was obviously all a part of the show. But I thought that was funny, though, that she kind of got animated speaking out against Dominic and how he does not feel like a threat to Gunther whatsoever. So I thought that was funny. So they go on from there talking about McIntyre and Rollins, replaying that segment from Raw. They're face-to-face, hyping up Drew and Jey Uso, one-on-one for next week's Raw. Sam Roberts says that McIntyre will definitely get his WrestleMania moment, and I believe he will. I don't think he's officially 100% re-signed yet. We haven't heard that from any credible source as of right now. I saw the report from this morning, Drew's re-signed. BWE, I don't think has a consistent track record from what I've understood, but from people that I would trust, I have not heard that yet. So any sources like Fightful or PW Insider, people like that, I haven't heard that yet. So until we hear from them, I don't 100% believe it. I do think he ultimately will re-sign it. This is the push they're giving him, and he's hopefully going to win the World Championship at WrestleMania, and he hopefully will face CM Punk at some point. They better fucking re-sign him for the money that he's worth, and not some lowball deal, which I'd be shocked if they did at this point, considering he's been the MVP of the show now for the past 6 months. But anyway, I do hope that he gets his World Heavyweight title win at WrestleMania in front of fans, which he could not get 4 years ago. Speaking of Drew, though, we do hear from him here on the show, backstage. McIntyre says that Rollins is always latching himself onto what's hot, whether it be The Shield or CM Punk's return, The Rock's return, Cody coming back, blah, 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 blah. And this is no different with The Rock and the Bloodline shit and all this other nonsense, he says. But he wants to make Raw about the World Championship again. He wants to make, I'm not even going to make that stupid joke, make Raw great again. That's cringy. But you understand my point as far as he wants to make Raw all about the World Heavyweight Championship again and not focus on the bloodline bullshit. As Seth has been doing and kind of interjecting himself with Cody Rhodes and Roman and The Rock and the bloodline nonsense from SmackDown. I understand Rollins' points about why you need to take down the bloodline, but Drew's like, bro, like, let it go. You were the one telling me a number of months ago, let go of the bloodline bullshit and focus on what's in front of you, which is what Drew is doing right now with the World Heavyweight Championship. So I like the points that Drew made here, and he promises to walk out of WrestleMania the new World Heavyweight Champion. They recap the Cody Rhodes Grayson Waller main event won by Cody Rhodes. Pretty pedestrian stuff, but I thought it was a good main event. They also replay the show ending with Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman going back and forth. Cody Rhodes laying out the security team. The Paul Heyman promo by Paul Heyman's standards I thought was actually pretty weak, but the Cody Rhodes promo was great. The intensity, the fire in his voice, the passion I thought was fantastic. And the actual attack on the security team was fine for what it was. But Sam says that it may not have been smart for the Bloodline to get Cody Rhodes to crack, which is what we saw on Monday, because now they have a real threat on their hands, a real thorn in their side in the form of the American Nightmare. They hype up The Rock's SmackDown return coming up on Friday. Sam also acknowledges, the Tribal Chief, but also acknowledges that Rock will be on SmackDown this week, next week, and the week after. 3 straight weeks of The Rock. Now, I'll probably be at SmackDown on March 29th. Good Friday, so at the end of the month of next month, not, it's February right now, obviously, for now anyway. I'll be there in about a month. I hope The Rock's on that show. I'll be at Mania, most likely, so I'm almost guaranteed to be at Mania, but I've never seen The Rock in person before. That's like the one big-time wrestler I've never seen in person. I've seen Stone Cold even wrestle in person, Mania 38. I've seen Hulk Hogan, all these other sort of people, Sting, but never The Rock until hopefully either that SmackDown or WrestleMania, almost guaranteed. But hopefully we could see The Rock on that SmackDown at the end of the month. Would be my selfish hope. But yeah, that was really about it. Robert says that Cody Rhodes can handle anything, and we'll see that in his appearances coming up on the road to WrestleMania before plugging Drew McIntyre for the bump on Wednesday. Pretty good stuff here on Raw Talk, hearing from Drew, Shayna, Zoe, Liv Morgan. I really liked her promo, so good stuff from Raw Talk this week. I think Megan and Sam are kind of finding the dynamic that works in the absence of Matt Camp now that he's gone. I like Megan getting fired up at Sam Roberts here on the show. I hope we get to see more of that going forward because I thought that was entertaining. But yeah, thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Have an awesome one, folks. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.